Mark, what do you call pumpkin carving in July?
I don't know, what do you call pumpkin carving in July?
Premature Jack-o'-lantern.
Oh, come on, man. That's pathetic.
And oh, before I forget,
I'll kill you if this is a joke.
You want to die tonight?
The You Run Podcast.
The You Run Podcast.
The You Run Podcast.
The You Run Podcast.
Why isn't it possible?
I can't say nothing. Or Candyman'll get me.
You choose the movies.
I had a hard-on this morning when I woke up, Tina. Had your name written all over it.
You score them.
Nice fucking model!
You review them.
For that you get the head, the tail, the whole damn thing.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
My name is very fucking confused. What's your name?
Captain Howdy.
Don't want to go fooling around other folks' property.
In my goddamn soul. Just a glass of beer.
Because after all, this is not our show. This is your show.
Hello and welcome to the last of our October episodes. Just so there's no confusion, we are the You Run Podcast, the horror movie review flavour of the You Run Podcast, and we're part of the You Run Podcast Network. My name is Scott.
And my name is Mark.
We're your hosts each and every week, and this is an interactive show. So between us and you, we review horror movies. That's kind of how it works. We are interactive. If you want to get involved, follow us on social media somewhere. We're at You Run Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, TikToks, Threads, /app, X, and YouTube. Literally everywhere. If you'd like to follow Mark and not the show, you can do that. He's at MW_horror_reviews on Instagram and Slasher, or he's at MW_horror_VHS on Instagram and TikTok. You can also send us an email, yourunpodcast@gmail.com, or record us a voicemail by sending us an audio DM on any platform that will allow you to do that. So that's TikTok, Instagram, Threads. I think a lot of them do it. X, I think, does it now as well. And we've actually got a message this week.
Well, as long as I don't have to read it out in any language, then I'll be all right.
No, you don't. However, the person who's called in does mention your excellent accent. But here's the message we got this week.
Hey guys, thought I'd leave a voicemail about the Rocky Horror episode. So I saw the show in Sydney earlier this year with Jason Donovan as Dr. Frankenfurter, and it was really, really good. If you have a chance to go see it, definitely do. As far as interaction with the audience, there wasn't a lot. Like, there was no umbrellas. There was more verbal banter between the narrator and the audience. The toast thing comes from, I think, when in the movie Dr. Frankenfurter says, "I'd like to propose a toast." If you're at the cinema seeing it, you throw toast at the screen, but that doesn't happen in the show, I don't think. And the only other interaction was at the end, they redid the time warp and got everyone to get up and dance. So that was good. But the whole cast was amazing. I don't remember a lot of their names, but I really hope your listener that messaged about being woke is sitting down if they're listening to this, because Rocky was played by a black man and Janet was played by an Asian woman. Gasp.
Shock. That was cool, man.
And everyone was perfect. So yeah, definitely go see it if you can. Also, Mark, your Australian accent, it was pretty shit, but trying to do an Australian accent, I think you are almost guaranteed to sound like the Wish version of Steve Irwin. I think if you practice, you could do really well. So don't be discouraged. You'll be fine. Apparently, if you say "rise up lights" quite fast, you do sound Australian, and it sounds like you're saying razor blades. I don't know if that works though, so give that a go. Anyway, I hope you have a great week. Bye.
What was that? Rise up lights.
Yeah, so that was a message from Kate, one of our listeners to the show. Rise up lights. If you say it really quickly, it sounds like razor blades. She doesn't know if it works, but we're gonna find out.
We're about to find out. Here we go. Rise up lights, rise up lights, rise up lights, rise up lights, rise up lights. I can see it. I can see how that would be a thing. Yeah. Nice.
Rise of lights.
Cool. Rocky Horror Show was on recently near me. I don't know if Jason Donovan was leading it though.
Jason Donovan, I think, could nail those roles.
It would be very different to what we're used to, but I'd be interested to see it.
Yeah, and I'm glad that someone actually called in and answered lots of the questions we had. Because that literally ticked off every single question that you and me were like, well, why do they have toast? Why? I don't understand. Thank you for calling in, Kate. If you want to call in and get your voice on the air, like I told you, it's really easy to do. Just leave us an audio DM wherever you can do that. You can also leave us a review. That would be really helpful. That helps the show more than anything you could possibly do. Do that on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, or there's a couple of other platforms you can do it on. Wherever you can do it, do it. If you can write a review, Mark will read it out in an accent. And now he's mastered Australian. That's back on the table.
I don't know if mastered is the correct word for that.
We've got a great episode lined up today. We've got a review of a movie. We've got facts. We've got a game. Loads of other cool stuff. But before we do any of that, we'll give you a dose of your weekly horror news. Now, I said last week you get to go first, but I'm going first this week.
I really wanted to go first this week as well.
Let me do one bit, then you can have it, because there's no way in the world you've got this. And if you had it, there's no way in the world you'd share it with, definitely not me.
Right, okay, go on then. What have you got?
So there is a new movie that's coming out early next year called Spider Island.
No, I had no idea this was a thing.
So this is a horror comedy, which sees social influencers, so big people from TikTok and YouTube, and they're doing a big launch of a new social platform, and they get sent to a tropical island to do this. While they're there, they unleash a plague of spiders. Now, I was completely like, oh, this sounds terrible, until I saw the visual effects team who are running this are the visual effects team who worked on Game of Thrones.
That sounds terrifying.
Their visual effects in Game of Thrones and what they created in that show have been given full control over going wild with spiders. I'm excited.
Yeah, we're not doing that on the show. Definitely not.
As soon as I saw it, I was reading the synopsis like, this sounds terrible. And then when I got through to that, I was like, I want to watch this right now.
Is it like got proper influencers on it, like stupid people like KSI and things like that?
No.
Or is it like an actual cast?
It's an actual cast, so they're actual actors. But I imagine playing an influencer's fairly easy, just be really loud and brash.
Yeah, be a knob.
Yeah, is that all I need to do?
Pretty much, mate, yeah, just be a knob.
I already qualify. Why am I not a massive star?
No, I don't think you've quite teetered on the edge of being a complete knob yet. You're not far off, don't get me wrong.
Thanks. Okay. Well, that's my first bit. What you got?
My first bit of news this week is, well, sticking with tradition, because it seems to be the only thing I talk about each week at the moment, is Terrifier 3. Once again, we are back talking Terrifier 3. There was a leaked poster that has come out. So with Terrifier 2 hitting theatres again on the 2nd of November, at the 1st of November, sorry, fans will be introduced to the trailer, which I've already spoken about. They'll also receive a special limited edition poster for Terrifier 3.
Yeah.
There is a photo leaked online, which I saw this about a day or two ago, and I was like, oh, that's probably fake.
No, been confirmed by David Howard Thornton.
Confirmed.
Yeah.
And Bloody Disgusting themselves have come forward and said, because of the leaked photo, we are now confirming this is real. Terrifier 3 is going to be a Christmas movie. How fucking awesome.
I literally just posted 2 minutes before we started recording on X.
Really?
And I literally just posted on X. Am I the only person who doesn't think this is a good idea?
Really? But you don't think this is a good idea?
They've established for 2 movies that Art the Clown comes back every Halloween. Him turning up at Christmas is like Michael Myers rocking up at the Easter holidays. It
Have they
doesn't.
established he comes back at Halloween? Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's a big thing in Terrifier 2. Every Halloween he rises from the grave. Ooh, it's.
Oh, I didn't get that.
And like Art the Clown. I love Terrifier 2. Anyone who's not listened to our Terrifier 2 episodes, go and listen to that. I absolutely adore that movie. They are going for a cheap pop to get more attention to it, to get more people to go and watch it. And I just think it's going to be, I don't know. I'm really not on board to the point that I'm put off going to see it because it's now a Christmas movie.
Oh, no, I think it's going to be brilliant. I love any horror-based stuff set in the snow. I think it's a perfect setting for horror movies. And even on the poster alone, it's like he's got like a skinned, almost Texas Chainsaw Massacre face of Father Christmas. Looks amazing.
I don't know. Just literally, I saw someone post, before it was confirmed, do you think this will actually be a Terrifier movie? And I replied to their post, I hope to fuck not, because they've established such a good Halloween movie. To move it to Christmas is suicide. It will kill the franchise.
Yeah. I mean, it depends how quickly it picks up from the second one. If the second one was set at Halloween and then it continued straight on after, the natural progression would be Thanksgiving and then Christmas. Depends how long he's been away from since the second one. If it's not an annual time jump from the second movie,
yeah, I don't know.
Might make logical sense.
I don't get me wrong. I'm sure it'll be good, and I've got faith in Damien Leone as a director. He's done a great job with Terrifier 2, but I don't know. There's something about it that instantly made me go, oh.
If anything, it got me more excited for it. I think I like Christmas, and I like Christmas horror movies, so I think he's the perfect candidate to fuck up Christmas. So,
my second bit of news is not really horror related; it's show related.
Oh,
so,
nice.
On the 11th of November, which is in a couple of weeks away, you will be able to meet me and Mark at For Love of Horror in Manchester if you are going.
Whoop, whoop.
If you see us, come and say hello. Don't do what loads of people done last year. They stayed away and stared and like gave us awkward looks. They're like, I know who that is. don't do that. Actually come up and say hello. We will talk to you. We are normal people.
Well, I mean, normal's a bit of an understatement, but yeah, no, please come and say hello. It'd be nice to meet everybody, especially those who message us regularly throughout the year. Come and show your face and say hello. It'd be nice to catch up and have a few beers.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it this year.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. We was our first one last year. We kind of got a grasp of what things were and how it sort of played out. I got drunk at about 10 o'clock in the morning and had to suffer through the entire day. So I'm going to pace myself this year.
Good, I'm not.
Oh, right, okay. Well, it'll be my turn to babysit you this year then, will it?
You were good last year. You did have a kerfuffle with someone when we were queuing up for the after party.
Oh, I'm always on form. I'm always on form when I'm drunk, but
yeah, there was an incident between you and another guy where he bumped into you and you went, watch where you're going. You went, what you going to do about it? And I just went, oh my God, here we go.
Yeah, apparently I gain massive muscles when I've had a few beers.
Yeah, you did there. And he was a big dude covered in tattoos as well. And I'm sat there going, it's all right, Mark.
Yeah.
Don't worry. And they're like, you and him were getting like, it was his girlfriend who diffused it, went, are you two like stupid or something? And you both went, no, what are you on about?
Oh, what a knobhead. I hate people like me.
The thing is, though, he did flat out cause it and tried to escalate it. There was me and his girlfriend and someone else trying to like calm him down. And there was a bit where he kind of pushed into me and I was like, look, mate, you don't want to go down this road. I don't have the time or patience to deal with you right now.
The thing is, a simple apology would have just solved it straight away. But he said, oh, sorry, mate. I'd have been like, yeah, no worries, dude. But it was his arrogance after the incident that pissed me off, which was why it escalated to where it did.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm a nice guy, honestly. I really am.
Mark is a nice guy. If you're listening to this, if you see us, come up and barge into Mark. Because you can explain why afterwards, and I will take full responsibility for your actions if you do that.
Right, moving away from my angriness, my second bit of news, following on from what you've just done, is not really news. It's something I just wanted to bring a bit of attention to and have a conversation with you about, and that is the death of physical media on the rise. Best Buy in America has now announced that they are no longer going to be selling physical media such as DVDs and Blu-rays, etc. And I don't think it's going to be long before other companies start following suit, which means we will no longer be able to physically own any copies of the films that we want. Now, this is a very scary premise. And let me explain to you why this is a scary premise, because streaming services hold enough power as it is over fans. They're very calculated with how much they charge you and when they decide to charge you for movies. So Halloween season's coming up. You can guarantee that all your favorite movies that you want to watch around this time of the year that are usually free on most services are now charged at a rentable fee, whether that be £1 or £2 or whatever, because they know the same will happen at Christmas, and then the same will happen around summertime with camp horror movies. And this is just horror genre in general. I'm sure they do it with plenty of other movies as well around Valentine's Day and all the rest of it. And it's such an abuse of power when you pay for a monthly subscription anywhere that they do this, and it very much annoys me. However, if you buy the movie and you own the movie, you can watch that whenever you want, whenever you want.
Yeah,
which is great.
A counter argument to that is all of these streaming services allow you to purchase said movie and keep it in a digital library.
But they hold the power of that digital library, and if you have no internet, you have no movies.
I'm going to say let it die.
No, man, I don't agree with you. And I mean, I'm not somebody who collects like DVDs and stuff now. I'm very much part of the digital platform era, and I've subscribed to all these streaming services because the physical media I collect is VHS, and they stopped in 2004. So anything post 2004,
can you still get them? Can you still get VHSs?
I can still get them now, but I have to pay a premium for them on eBay and stuff like that.
So if DVDs stop now, you're still going to be able to get DVDs for 20 years at least.
But that's only of those movies. But that's what about the movies that are coming out in the future? And I'm talking the more scarier element of it is movies such as, I don't know, say indie products and things. There's a lot of movies that don't make it onto streaming platforms, whether they're deemed good enough or not, and they get a physical release. Now, if there is no physical release, once that streaming platform drops that movie, that's gone forever.
Unless you buy it
on a digital platform, which they hold the power to. It's just, I know times move on and things move along with it, but I just think that killing off such a vital part of, I don't know, like our culture and our genre of love and things like that, I just deem it very unnecessary. Do you know what they should do? Stop selling them in supermarkets and bring back Blockbuster. You don't need to rent them, but just a specific shop and chain for those who do want to go and collect these kind of things can go and purchase them.
Yeah. The problem is the physical media market is on its arse anyway. No, I can't tell you the last time I went and bought a new release on a DVD or Blu-ray or anything like that. I don't go out and buy it.
No, I don't either.
Well, this is the thing, and it's not that they're taking it away; it's the fact that no one wants it anymore. So there's no demand for it, I think, is the problem.
Yeah, I agree with it to a certain point, but then at the same time, I just think like taking that option away from those people who choose to do it, because there is a lot of people out there that do. I mean, obviously, based on the account that I run on Instagram, I follow a lot of accounts out there that do this kind of thing, and it's a big topic of conversation at the moment between everybody about how bad it would be for us if that was taken away and then streaming services do have all the power. I mean, you know how it is now with the rights that they get to our favorite franchises and things like that. And I don't know. I just think it's monopolizing on things, and it's monopolizing on the Hollywood era, I think. And it's just, I don't think it's going to be a good thing for everybody if this side of stuff is taken away.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I can kind of see it from both. So I'd be interested to know what our listeners think. Call us, send us an email, yourunpodcast@gmail.com. Should physical media be let to die?
That would be interesting to find out what the consensus is on that.
Yeah. I'm going to go Laurie Strode. Let it burn. Let it burn.
Evil dies tonight.
Evil dies. Physical media dies tonight. That is 100% a post as soon as we finish recording. So this week we were scheduled to record Five Nights at Freddy's. Down to my own piss poor planning and scheduling, that has not been possible.
Nope.
So I couldn't. I couldn't watch Five Nights at Freddy's and get it written and ready to record True Crime, which is due to come out in a couple of days. And it's completely my fault, so please accept my apologies. We will be reviewing it next week, and Tasha from the Sinister Scoop will still be joining us, so it's still going to happen, just not this week. Also, it gives you all longer to go and watch it and give us 3-word reviews and other stuff as well. So there's a plus side to it.
It's out now, isn't it?
It is out now, yeah. It came out on the 25th. So it's available on streaming. I think it's on Peacock in the US. I don't know where it is in the UK for streaming at the moment in theatres in the UK.
Oh, there you go then. Because one thing I find as well is like with regular listeners, if it's like a new release and they don't know that that's coming next week and like, oh shit, I haven't watched that yet, so I can't listen to the episode. You've now been warned. Go and do your homework because next week we're doing a new release.
It's really funny. So we've done a couple of new releases this month. When that new release comes out like a week after the movie, it kind of bumbles along a reasonable amount of listeners. And then about 2.5, 3 weeks later, when everyone's seen it, it just takes this massive spike in listeners.
Yeah, because everyone then comes back to it because they've seen it at this point.
Yeah.
But it's on streaming services, not just in cinema, so you can now watch this movie ready for next week.
This week instead, we're going to be looking at a movie that I tipped for Movie of the Year 2021, and then again for Movie of the Year 2022. I then harassed you constantly on news when we had the news show and on news on this show, giving you updates of when it was cancelled, rescheduled, cancelled again, rescheduled again. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, being the fact it was planned for release next October, they just released it.
Because this was in our schedule, wasn't it, for this year?
It was in our schedule.
Earlier this year.
It was in our schedule for 2021.
Yeah, and then it was also 2022. But this year we were supposed to do this like a month ago, 2 months ago, was we not?
Yeah, I think it was originally slated August, maybe.
August, I think, wasn't it? We were going to do it new release in August.
Yeah, so it's been scheduled 3 times and 3 times not happened. This, however, is a perfect movie to cover at Halloween. And it is Halloween now. This episode comes out on the 30th. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy Halloween.
Get your purging gear on. Decide what you're spending your winnings on. Put on your Misfits masks and venture into a cornfield to hunt a monster that looks like a pumpkin you've left out since the 5th of November. Today, we're covering Dark Harvest.
It's Halloween.
Let me out, please!
You know what that means.
Let me out!
Old Sawtooth Jack is gonna rise from the cornfields. It's gotta be stopped. Kill or be killed.
You've all heard the stories. We failed at our duties, and that black dust destroyed our crops, our lives. It must die, so we can live. Your sacred duty is to take down Sawtooth Jack before that church bell rings at midnight.
You really think that's real?
I saw it. It's real.
You saw it? Did you kill it? Then let's go kill it.
You should do it. You know I'm not allowed.
Just because your brother won the run last year?
I got an idea.
If that thing isn't dead by midnight, this whole town is going straight to hell!
I want to go home. I want to go home.
You think you're special?
Why are you doing this?
If you're born in this town, you're cursed. I'm ending this. Tonight.
It ain't over.
So listeners scored this a 7 out of 10. IMDb rocking it at a 5.5 and Letterboxd at 2.8. So kind of middle of the road across the board, really. Whenever we say Letterboxd and it's 2 point something, it always sounds bad, but that's above average.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
2.5 is average, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
middle of the road.
Little bit of a synopsis for this, if you don't know anything about it. Every
Try that again.
Yeah, I'll try that again. Every year, a monster rises from the cornfields in a small town, and its job is to get to the church. The townspeople task the young males of that town with the job to stop it, because if it reaches the church, something really bad happens. That is as much context as you also get in the movie.
I was gonna say,
if the monster from the field reaches the church, it's bad.
Yeah.
The end. I do love the lack of context for what happens when it gets there. Like, look, just can't let that happen. It's bad.
See, the thing is, as well, though, you've read the book, so this is based on a novel.
It is based
on
on
the author of the novel is.
The novel. Oh God, I've gone blank.
You have, because you've spoken and you've said his name a million times in the past 2 years.
Norman Partridge.
Norman Partridge, yeah. So it's based on a Norman Partridge novel, and because you've read it, you obviously have that context. So
yeah, kind of. So in the book, they still don't give context as to why. They don't give context as to why the town is on lockdown, but they give more context as to the how it happens, how it becomes this evil entity into the monster, and they give more context on what happens if he doesn't reach the church.
Right, because that's all missing here.
Yeah, but they never explain why. Even the book.
Before we even dive into it, let me just get this straight. The town's on lockdown, so nobody in, nobody out. We know nobody out. But
nobody in, nobody out. The only way you can get out of that town is if you win the run.
So obviously, when people try to escape, the first thing they do is take the road. But this is a town. I mean, it has a circumference. It's like the dome. Is there a dome on top?
No, there's one road in or out, and people always take that. I guess they always take that road. Well, we see it in the movie. We'll talk about it in a minute.
There's just not one road. There's a road down a street and a cul-de-sac, but to a town.
Yeah, I think it's a hamlet. It's not even a town; it's a hamlet.
What's a hamlet? What's the context of a hamlet?
A hamlet is slightly smaller than a village.
Oh, right, okay. Because a village is like, what, 200, 300 houses?
Yeah, so a hamlet's smaller than that. So it's tiny. It's like 3 roads.
Right, okay.
So I imagine escape, you would be spotted quite quickly because everyone can look in everyone else's window from their house.
Yeah, I'm not buying it, man. Not buying it. Let's do this.
It's a little bit like your town. Imagine someone trying to escape your town. They get spotted instantly. We are a spoiler-heavy show. If you've not seen this movie and you don't want to know what's happening, please go and watch the movie and come back. For those of you who are a little bit slower or eating crayons, I'm going to let Heather explain it to you in a much more simple way for you to understand.
Eating crayons.
Read the fucking episode title and be like, I've never seen this. Don't fucking listen to it then. If y'all haven't seen it, that's not anybody's problem. Don't listen to the damn episode yet.
Still the best soundbite I've ever got of Heather. And I've got some fucking classic soundbites of Heather.
Oh, man, you must have a hard drive full of them these days.
Yeah, I could probably put an entire episode together just using Heather sound clips.
Oh, I would listen to that.
I could do like an AI episode where I could co-host about any movie with Heather and just use pre-recorded sound clips of Heather.
Mate, do you know what? You should try that one day just to see how it pans out.
I could do it with you and Heather. I could host an episode, claim you're both on it, and just use pre-recorded sound clips.
And just pass it off.
Maybe I'll do that and just keep it saved if any time you're ill one week and just drop it.
Man, I'm signing away that you're not using me as AI.
Let's get into this movie. We open with the narration of Sawtooth Jack and kind of a bit of backplot. And we're in 1962. The backplot for this, they give you a brief overview of every year Sawtooth Jack rises from the cornfield. He ventures into the town to get to the church. Everyone goes out to kill Sawtooth Jack before he does this. And
so this opening with this narration, the tone's a bit weird, isn't it? It's very... I don't even know what I can compare it to, but it's instantly recognizable with something, if that makes sense. It's like very folklore-y, almost over exaggerated in a way. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, it visually these opening shots
Amazing.
is stunning. The
Yeah, who
cornfield.
directed this?
Directed by David Slade, who'd done 30 Days of Night.
Perfect. That makes more sense to me than anything now. Now I know that because that film's amazing visually.
Yeah.
This film is amazing visually as well. It
Really,
looks
really
incredible.
good.
Really cool stuff in the cornfields and things.
Yeah, we get a kid stood in the road in full purge attire, and I was not expecting this. And there's an awesome shot where it pans around and it catches the moonlight behind him, and that's the cover of the poster as well, which is super cool. He's startled by a noise and then dies instantly.
Yes.
He's found by his friends as a burnt out corpse on the side of the road. And then his friends just go, oh, he must be in the cornfields, and just run into the cornfields. We'll get this great overhead shot of one of the kids chasing Sawtooth Jack through the field. And I love the fact it's just far enough back that you can't make out what he looks like.
No, this is it's a good aerial shot. That's one thing I really liked about this is the aerial shots. I mean, we've talked about it on numerous episodes. I'm a sucker for it. Every time I see them, they look great. But one thing that's really cool is I love it when someone runs through a cornfield and they all part and they leave like that trail behind them. And they do that numerous times throughout this film, and it looks fantastic. Really does.
It looks great. Sawtooth Jack gets into town, and again, we don't get a particularly great look at him. And he is taken out with a baseball bat viciously. How shocked were you when he pulled his insides out and started to eat them?
Yeah, it's weird because he's taken down fairly easily, I think. I think he's done in quite easily. And then they pull out sweets from his belly.
Yeah.
Like Halloween candy. It's weird, man. And they start eating it. I thought there was like eating like his blood and guts and stuff. And then I paid more attention. I've had to watch this film twice just for context because I'll get into that later on. But yeah, they start pulling it out and eating it. And it's like busy laces and shit. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah,
what's going on?
Reaching into his stomach and unpacking Reese's Pieces and start eating it.
I was like, they just killed Willy Wonka. I don't get what's going on here.
It cuts straight for you. Get a hard cut from this, and we go into like a celebration. And there's like this party, and we meet Jim, who's the guy who took out Sawtooth Jack, and he's presented with a check for $25,000. He's given a new car. His family get a nice house, and they don't have to pay bills anymore. And he goes out. The mayor gives a speech of, "This is a
it's
great
like a hero's reward, isn't it, for saving the town?"
And I love the mayor's speech where like, "This is a great success for the town, and we can put this dark night behind us and move on and have a great year and a great crop." And then he like chucks Jim the keys, and Jim runs out, gets in his car, and sort of goes, "See you later, fuckers," and drives out of the town.
Yeah, off into the sunset.
Yeah. We jump forward to 1963, the following year, a couple of nights, about a week before Sawtooth Jack is due to rise again. And we meet Officer Rick, who is the biggest cock in the world.
I hate this dude. I hate his acting. He is the biggest overactor I've ever seen in my life, and I cannot stand a single second he is on screen. I fucking hate this dude.
You sure?
Honestly, man, the passion is strong with this one. He infuriated me. And I don't know what it is about it. I don't know. I think it's his accent that bothered me. Right. So I'm not a big fan of like period pieces. I don't like things that are set in certain time frames and stuff like that I can't necessarily relate to or have no nostalgia for. Yeah. Anything pre sort of 80s doesn't really work for me.
Okay.
And I don't like this whole Grease Lightning Greaser era that they're going for with this movie. I don't think it works for me at all.
I love that. So you've got this Officer Rick, or Dick as we're probably going to call him, is in the gym, and he's giving the kids a lecture on Sawtooth Jack and how it all works. And this is where he plays the quick video of like I know he shows photos of the dust descending on the town the one year that they didn't stop Sawtooth Jack, and it ruined their crop. So they all need to fucking pay attention. They need to get on and do it. The kids are all kind of arguing amongst themselves. Some of them are saying it's all bullshit. It's an excuse for them just to get us out for the night. And Others saying, no, it's real. And then you've got Richie, who is the brother of Jim, who won last year. Yeah. And he starts having an argument with a group of, I don't know, they're like the T-Birds from Grease Lightning. They really are.
Exactly that.
And they have this kind of like little fist fight. And it ends with Officer Rick throwing Richie out, going, you shouldn't be here. You're not even allowed to take part in the run because your family already won it. Get the fuck out. Yeah. This then leads to one of the Greaser gang, one of the T-Birds, following Richie off into the town. Yeah. I'm going to say it now. Richie could have taken him one-on-one, but he's a pussy and he dived into a cinema to hide.
Yeah, do you think he could have taken him, though?
I think so.
I think the events of this film prove that he couldn't.
But this is true. He can be taken by a small girl, though.
Yes, but she had a bat, to be fair.
She did. And that's one of the crowning moments, and that we'll get to that later. He hides in a cinema where he meets Kelly, who's the girl who kicks the shit out of the guy later. She's like, are you hiding? He's like, no, I've come in here to get some sweets. She's like, yeah, people tend to go to the sweet shop. He's like, yeah. She gives him a bag of free popcorn. She's like, you can sneak in and watch a movie if you want to, then just start. He's like, no, it's fine. I'm going to leave. And he leaves.
And she knows what's going on anyway, because she's like, oh, don't worry about him. He's a dick. On about the other guy.
Yeah. And I didn't write the other guy's name down. I think I did somewhere.
Dick works fine for the reference of this podcast.
Dick does work perfectly. There's too many dicks in this movie.
There is, yeah.
We now see Sawtooth Jack being dug up. So we see a body being dug out of the ground, hung on a cross, missing the top piece. He's hung on a giant letter T in the cornfield. And then we see a pumpkin carved and placed on his head.
Yeah.
This is the most Halloween-feely thing ever.
Oh, right. So this is 5 days before?
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay. That's just threw into a bit of context, the post-credit scene at the end.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't quite work out the timeline of that, but I get it now.
Yeah.
I must have missed, I've watched this twice and I still missed the part where they dug him up. I thought he'd been up there all year long.
No, they dig him up.
Right, okay.
So yeah, he's dug up and he's hung up on the thing. And this is where it's Riley is the dick's name. I did have it in my notes. So Richie is walking home and Riley catches up with him.
Yep.
And Riley just goes to town on him.
Unloads. And this is quite a severe beatdown as well.
It's a really bad beatdown. And he takes his belt as well.
Yep.
Which he takes his belt off him and Richie gets up and pulls a knife. He's like, you haven't got the stones, and then beats him some more. And it is brutal. And it's when you find out the context of the belt later, it's really, really harsh what he done to him.
Yeah. Yeah. Really the belt's harsh. Like some sort of family crest, is it not?
Yeah. It's a family crest. His brother had the belt. He has the belt. His dad has the belt. And this jumped up, arrogant John Travolta, Grease Lightning wannabe just beat him up and took it off him.
Yeah, I like the fact that he's like, because what's his brother called who won the race first year?
Jim.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I can't believe you're Jim's brother, you fucking pussy. And
yeah,
like, because he's obviously got this stigma now that he has to live up to his brother's legacy, because his brother's a hero within the town, which is why he wants to do the race himself, because he's sick of living in his shadow, sort of thing. That's the drive for this kid.
Yeah, he wants to do the run because he wants to prove that he's just as good as his brother.
Yeah. Basically, even though he's not allowed to do it which makes more sense at the end.
Yeah.
There's a lot revealed at the end, which makes more sense to this entire movie, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it definitely. When he gets home after his beating, he finds a letter from his brother. And the letter basically says, look, I've not been in touch for a while. Sorry, I'm just living my life in California. It's kind of great down here. I imagine it's nearly time for the run and you're thinking of doing it. You don't need to do it. I done it. Yeah. You've got everything you need. Don't do it. And with this, Richie goes, Joe, what, fuck this, and gets in his car. Oh, no, he steals a car, hotwires a car, and tries to leave town.
Yeah. Here comes Officer Dickhead.
This scene is so beautifully shot. He's driving out against the sunset. And this vintage 1960s police car does a full J turn in the road in front of him. And then the Officer Dick goes on the big microphone. He's like, don't do it. Get out of the car. Don't do it. Richie gets out of the car, Dick gets out of the car. Richie goes to make a run for it, and Dick takes his head clean off his shoulders with a bat, with a trunk,
and then hits him again when he's down,
just to make sure. It's so rough.
I was like, I don't think you would be getting back up from that.
No.
I've known people in EastEnders get hit with ashtrays and be dead.
Do you know what it reminded me of? The way he swung that baton, it reminded me instantly of the Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, yeah.
It's that level of brutality. He hits him with that baton. It's horrible.
He's had a rough 24 hours as his kid.
He's had the shit kicked out of him twice in less than 24 hours. That's a bad day. It's a bad day for him. We now find out that all the kids now go on lockdown for 3 days prior to them going out for the run. They're locked in rooms, and this is to make sure, it's basically to starve them. It's so they're hungry to go and catch Sawtooth Jack, because Sawtooth Jack contains candy.
Yeah, which is a weird premise. You would think that they would want them healthy and fit and pumped up, but they don't. They starve them and weaken them and tire them out completely, because these kids don't sleep. They just lose their minds trapped in this sort of barracks that they're put in.
Yeah, I do like how this is shot, though, like the various different time lapse, and you see them at the beginning, they're quite calm, and then you see them pacing up and down, and then you see them at the point where they're like hammering on doors, going,
to escape.
Fucking let me out. And then it pans out into the town, and all you can hear through the town is all these kids banging on doors, wanting to get out.
Yeah, really good.
Really, really cool. Sawtooth Jack is cut down. The teens are released, and we are off to the races. This is where the movie takes a real tonal shift. It becomes The Purge.
It does become The Purge, but the setup of it and the build-up to it, I think, is paced really, really well. In fact, I think this movie completely is paced really well. It's only an hour, 35 minutes, but it sort of flies by.
Yeah.
It really does fly by. Before you know it, I mean, we're here already at the night of the Purge, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
And we're, halfway, 2/3 of the way through this movie? But it only feels like we've just got in the introduction, which is weird. Which is one of the things that sort of annoys me a little bit about it, because I feel like this could quite easily be stretched out to a 2 hour, 20-minute movie. And if it could get stuck with the consistent pacing that it has with the intro, that's an hour in, and already this film feels like it's running short on time.
Yeah. Yeah, this needed to be an hour 50 at least, in my opinion, to flesh everything out. But yeah, hey, editing, what can I say? Richie wakes up at home. He's woken up by his dad after his beating, so he's been out for 3 days as well. As soon as he's woken up, he is out. He's going to join the run, and he meets up with his mates. I love this bit where Richie meets up with his mates, and they've all got in this little truck, and they're driving through the town. They meet like the T-Bird gang.
Yeah.
I love their interaction where they kind of like walk up to him and go, "You're not meant to be using a fucking truck." And Richie's straight out of the truck like, "Get the fuck away from me."
Yeah, just because you didn't think of it, dipshit.
Yeah, and that you can feel like between these like 6 guys, there's Richie and 2 of his mates and the other guy and his 2 mates, you can feel it's like, it's going to go. This is all going to end in so much violence. And I think one thing this movie does well is it gives you that underlying of like, something bad is about to happen.
Yeah. You feel that impending doom throughout, I think.
Yeah.
In order to cause distraction, he chucks a cake on the floor, something we skipped over. When Richie it is Richie, isn't it? He wakes up from his beatdown from the police officer. He's been out cold for the full entire 3 days while these lads have been chained up in these barracks trying to escape. He wakes up, his dad's pleading with him not to go. He walks out into the living room, and his mum's made him all his favourite food to try and entice him to stay in for the night. So he grabs one of the cakes on the way out. Obviously, he hasn't eaten for 3 days either, but it's cool that all these people are so hungry that in order to distract them to get away in the truck, he just chucks a cake on the floor, and they all just start rioting for it.
To be fair, brilliant. I probably would have stayed in for that cake. That cake looked awesome.
Yeah. One thing we skipped over as well is like a bit of the casting as well. Like, I really love his dad. His dad's a fantastic actor, and it's a shame because he's the same person in every single thing he does. I've seen him throughout so many different programs. He's not really done many movies, but he's
the same for the mum.
Hannibal. Yeah, the mum as well. She's fantastic. I have seen in the end where she we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Brilliant. But the dad in particular, I've seen him in Hannibal. I think he's done a few episodes of Gotham and stuff like that. He plays the same guy in everything, but it was so cool to see him in here and have a lot more screen time and flesh out his character, because he's one of my favorite people in this movie, his arc.
Yeah, he starts off, he's very anti his son being involved, and you find out later why he doesn't want his son to be involved, because his arc's really good. And I would say, if anything, the movie is his movie, because he's the one who brings it full circle at the end.
Yeah. I mean, he's a very weak man. He's a very weak man to let this situation unfold in front of him and to happen. But you kind of see the torment within him throughout, which I think is really, really good. And I think it should have been focused on a lot more in this movie, the dad's torment with it all. Yeah. Because that's an entire fleshed out arc on its own if you'd have given it a bit more time.
Yeah, it 100% is. Richie and his mates drive out into where the cornfields are, and they hear a noise and they go into the cornfields, and we get to see Sawtooth Jack deliver what Sawtooth Jack can deliver. Jesus fucking Christ, I was not prepared for the level of brutality that came.
I was about to say the exact same thing. I was not ready for this at all.
There's no build up to this being a very brutal movie. So up until this point, like even the hits where like Richie's being beaten up, and even when he's hit with the baton, and even at the beginning when you see the kid get burnt or scorched by Sawtooth Jack, it all happens off camera.
Yeah.
And you get this scene where these three kids go running in. One of them gets cut clean in half and thrown in two pieces in opposite directions.
And it's all filmed from so the camera's filmed on the ground. So if you imagine the camera placed on the ground in the middle of a cornfield, so like the corn sort of built maybe 2/3 up to screen level. Yeah. And then you have this glistering moonlight coming through. Yeah. And you just see this kid just get torn in two and the blood splatter up across the moonlight. It's like a silvery look. Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah. So cool, man.
And then the second one gets like just the top of his head cut off.
Oh, brilliant. And he carries, he calls out Richie. Richie. He's still walking forward.
It's like Richie, and Richie turns around and like, shit. Richie runs out of the cornfield, which is the correct response at this point.
Immediately, yeah.
And he runs into Kelly. And this has got to be, it was in the trailer, but this still is really, really cool. He's like, I saw Sawtooth Jack. And she's like, did you kill him? He's like, no. She's like, well, let's go fucking kill him. Why are you running away from him, you dickhead?
I like Kelly. She's really cool in this.
I do. And I like the fact that he's not allowed to do the run. And she's not allowed to do the run either, because no girls are allowed to partake in the run. That's something they focus a lot heavier on in the book. And there's a lot more of the girls that want to take part in the run that aren't allowed. And I wish they'd put more of that into it.
Yeah, because to me, it appears like she's the only girl in this entire cul-de-sac.
Yeah, but she's not. In the book, she's not. These two kind of team up now, and they go back into the town to try and find Sawtooth Jack, because he's run off through the cornfield. And they come across Riley. This scene, I thought it was going to go really bad when they come across Riley.
The dick.
Yeah, the dick. So Richie and Riley have a bit of an altercation, and he grabs hold of Kelly and he's like, let her go. And he's like, well, yeah, maybe I'll let her go when I'm finished with her. And Richie tries to fight, and Richie again gets knocked down. And Kelly breaks herself free and then takes both of them out with a baseball bat. And there's a bit where one of them calls her a racist name.
And again, that's set in that time period, and I imagine this is a phrase commonly thrown around in that era, but we're past it now. I don't need to see it. I don't like to hear it. It's just not good.
I don't need to hear it. And the only good that come of it is when she hits him with the bat, she points out that not only is she a girl, but she's also...
Yeah.
Take
the power, man.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say that word. They meet up with Sawtooth Jack, so they get given a tip that Sawtooth Jack has gone to a specific place. And they go there, and Richie has the chance to take Sawtooth Jack out, and he pauses because he notices that he's wearing the family belt.
Yes.
And this is where I think for most, obviously I knew, but for you, was this where the penny dropped?
No.
Oh, was it not? You didn't realise
No.
at this point?
Because I didn't pick up on the context of the belt. So,
Okay.
I knew he had the belt, but we didn't see his brother have the belt at the beginning. I feel like I think more should have been made of the belt at the beginning.
Yeah, again, in the book, it's a big integral part of kind of everything.
Yeah. So, like, if there was more context to it with the introduction of the characters and the family, and then they would like, we all have this belt, or there's a moment on Christmas morning, like a flashback where they all get given the belt. Yeah. I would have then put the two and two together in this instance, but it didn't click for me here.
Yeah, and he doesn't kill Sawtooth Jack, and Sawtooth Jack kind of goes, okay, I'll get a free pass, and runs back off into the cornfield.
Yeah, because although it didn't click for me, it certainly clicked for him, because you can see in his face his cogs are turning and he's working out, oh, shit.
Yeah, and Sawtooth Jack's gone, yeah, it's not going to be you. It can be anyone, but it's definitely not going to be you. After this, Richie takes Kelly back to his house to meet his drug-addled, suicidal, incredibly crazy mother. I get it, why she's the way she is, but my God, this scene is rough.
Yeah.
Like, they come in and she's like, oh, my baby, you've come home. Oh, you want to stay in? I'll get you some cakes. He's like, no, I just want you to fucking tell me the truth. What's going on?
Don't lie to me. What the fuck is happening?
And then he's like looking on the side. She's got loads of like pills, and she like pops a couple more while she's talking to him. She's like, I just can't do this anymore. And then slits her own throat. I was like, oh my Jesus.
Yeah, I like this. I mean, that particular bit is very fucking hard, and I didn't see it coming either when it happened. I was like, oh my fucking God. But the build up to it when he walks in and he's subtly asking the question. So he's like, oh, so what happened? No, he questions her on, did you send? No, he didn't ask her about the letter immediately. He asks about previous contestants in the run and what's happened to them in the run. And she's like, oh, where are they now? And it's like, oh, yeah, he's off in Florida and he's off in so-and-so, so-and-so. It's like, why do none of them ever come back? And then he blatantly just comes out and says, did you send me the letter from his brother? Yeah. He's like, was it you who sent the letter? And that's when he's like, no, don't fucking lie to me. And then she's like, yeah, I did. I don't want you to do the run. Rah, 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 rah. He's like, but she doesn't tell him what's going on.
No.
But she just says, you need to end it.
Yeah. And
that was her last words before she viciously stabs herself in the throat. And his reaction to this is just stellar.
He's a really good actor. I would say Kelly, his friend Kelly, is also a really good actress.
Both of them extremely solid. Do you know, when I was watching this movie, the only thing I kept thinking was the whole way through, I was like, he would make a really good Crow.
Yeah. Yeah, he really would. He's really got that look and that vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, he just has that sort of facial feature and that sort of grungy emo vibe to him. I was like, wow, you'd actually be really cool in a Crow remake.
Yeah. Well, we get Bill Skarsgård next year.
Yeah, which Bill always delivers, so I have no worries about that.
No, I don't. While this has all been going on, Richie's dad is out looking for him and has been out looking for him since he got out of the house. And he meets up with Rick, the dick, who basically says, look, you need to end this. You need to stop your son doing what he's doing, or I'm going to. And again, this is a bit where the dad's really conflicted and he tries to, like, he sort of has a moment where he wants to fight back. And Rick's like, you sure?
Yeah.
I don't think
kicks him off the garden.
Yeah, he's like, I don't think you want to do that. You just want to go and sort it out. It's your problem. You made it. You fix it.
Yeah. And the whole entire time, like, just fucking man up, dude. Be the man.
Yeah.
But he's not.
It goes from this and it goes really, so we get some more context with scenes of people in this, like all these teens in this purge environment. And this I love. So there's a bit where one of the teens is walking down the street going, I'm going to win the fucking run. And someone looks at him, he's like, well, if you think you can win the run, come and have a go. And this bloke just splits his head straight down the middle with a machete.
The dude in the pig mask, yeah.
Yeah.
He just pulls back the mask and just howls at the moon. I'm like, wow, cool.
Yeah. And there's loads of this, like loads of kid-on-kid killing in this.
The best one is where they try to break into the butchers.
Yes.
So there is a butcher who obviously knows this is going to take place because it's an annual thing. So he is standing guard outside his shop. He has plenty of meat inside the shop and sausages and pigs hanging from the ceiling and all the rest of it.
Yep.
So clearly these kids are all starving and ravishing. So he knows his shop is going to be a target and has to protect it. So he spends the nights outside with a shotgun. These kids, man, they do him wrong. Real wrong. Savage.
Yeah, really brutal. And also the bit where one of the kids who doesn't want to take part tries getting into a storm bunker. And there's other
Is he
kids.
Is he part of the greasers?
Yeah. And there's people in there like open the door just enough. They're like, yes, $20. He's like, I haven't got $20. I'll give it to you tomorrow. He's like, yeah, look, no, that's not the deal. Like, it's $20 to get in. But I'll give it to you tomorrow. No, look, that wouldn't be fair. And all the other people have already paid their $20.
Brilliant bargain. He gets killed instantly. Favorite kill of the movie as well.
That whole bunker gets it.
Yeah, but his kill is my favorite because while he's trying to bargain with these kids, Sawtooth Jack just creeps up behind him and he puts his hand on the bottom of his jaw and on the top of his head and he just splits it and you see the full thing, just his hair across, and you're like, oh. Yeah. And one thing I want to say about this film is none of it's practical. It's all done with CGI, but the CGI is so fucking good. And it's not very often you will hear me say that about CGI in movies.
The CGI is slick. Really
very faultless, man. Almost perfect.
Yeah.
That is a statement you will never hear me say again.
That from you is such high praise.
That is. I just know how high compliment that is from me to say that.
It goes from here. We get loads of this carnage and it ends up with us outside the church. Sawtooth Jack has reached the church. You've got the dick cop has helped the dick kid get to the church and giving him a gun because he's trying now to gift him Sawtooth Jack. Like that. He basically says to the kid, get in, I'll take you to Sawtooth Jack. Congratulations, you've won the run this year.
Yeah.
And when they get there, Richie's there as well. And it ends with like Sawtooth Jack gets hurt and he falls down. He's in Richie's arms and Richie takes
no, before we do, we just missed a whole segment out, which is the two guys, the guy and the girl, they go to the church.
Yes.
The policeman and the young kid are on the way to the church.
Oh, yeah.
Sawtooth Jack is being spotted, but they go inside the church.
The bit we missed out is the bit where they give full context as to what's going on.
The full context of actually what's happening in this movie.
Yeah.
This was, so they go inside the church and why do I want to, is it Richie? I want to keep calling him Richie, the main
Richie.
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, Richie. So Richie goes inside the church with his friend, and his dad's there. And then this is where they have the whole exposition dump of his brother was set to leave. The policeman took him down. Nobody leaves. He was then buried, then dug up and turned into Sawtooth Jack.
Yeah. If you win the run, you become Sawtooth Jack following year.
Yeah. Which is really all the exposition we get.
Yeah.
Like I say, this is an exposition dump moment, but that's pretty much all that happens in this scene, barring the whole emotional unfold between the dad and the son and how could you let this happen to your kid? What's the matter with you sort of thing, which is great. And the acting between these two, the dad and the son in these scenes are just fucking brilliant, man. So good. I honestly can't praise these two guys enough in this movie.
No. And again, this scene is everything in this movie is really beautifully shot. So the church they're in, they've used color rendering to make everything like this bluey grey color.
Yeah.
They've really made everything about this just feels tonally Halloweeny. This is the perfect October movie. Everything, like when you get the shots of the town, every single front porch has got 5 or 6 different pumpkins all carved in different ways. And I guarantee I guarantee after this has been out for a while, someone will spot there will be a Michael Myers carved pumpkin.
Oh, yeah, easily.
There's so much in this that just oozes Halloween. This is like
even that first scene when the run first starts, and then you get that pan camera. Like I said, I love my aerial shots. You get the pan camera, and it's running down the street, and you're not just talking 1 or 2 pumpkins on the doorstep. So it's like 30 lit pumpkins in everybody's garden. It lights up the entire town. I mean, it looks amazing. There's so much that works so well about this film.
Yeah, so much that doesn't, but we'll get to that in our roundups. So Richie's left with no choice. He's got a choice of either the dick kid kills his brother, along with the gang of 50 youths that are swinging bats, or he does it.
Yeah.
So he does it. We don't.
Yeah, well, Sawtooth grabs a gun, doesn't he, and holds it to his head. So you can, which is cool because it kind of implies that. In fact, no, it doesn't just imply, because we know that this is the case, because Sawtooth Jack throughout this film, he goes to the bunker where he was held the first year, and he sees all the spray painting on the wall, and he just fucking incinerates the entire building, which shows that he still holds like emotions and memories from his past life, if you will.
Yeah.
So the fact that he goes and then he's stuck in this situation with his brother, and he grabs a gun and holds it to his head as if to say, just fucking kill me, man.
Yeah.
And it's like, amazing, but we shouldn't have to work all this out ourselves. Although we do, it's just not implied enough for us to get enough context.
It hard cuts, so you don't see them like hook all the candy out of him this time. It hard cuts from here. And we jump straight to an exact replica scene of the celebration scene at the beginning.
Yes.
And Richie, as you can imagine, is just like a zombie at this point. He's like...
Yeah, just comatose by all.
Just like, I can't believe we're all having a celebration. And they hand him the check. And then he dances with Kelly. And everyone gives dirty looks because she's not white. Which
because that's a good full circle moment as well, because earlier on in the film she sort of implies that she's not allowed to go to the annual ball, and they never actually openly say it, but I'm assuming it's because she's black. But he's like, oh, you can come with me, I'll make sure you go this year, and he does, and he fulfills that, and he takes her as his date. Which is cool. It was nice.
He dances with her and everyone gives dirty looks, and he whispers in her ear, go and get a car and meet me, because in a minute we're getting the fuck out of here and we're never coming back. And he gets handed his victory car, and I can't remember what his brother shouts, but he shouted the same out the window that his brother shouted. And he picks up Kelly, and they go on the run. And he's like, look, lay down, because obviously I'm the only one allowed to leave the town, so you lay down and hide and I'll get out of here. He's hammering down the road. Then you see the dickhead's police lights come up behind him. And he looks in his mirror, he's like, fuck you. Not gonna.
But just before the police goes, we have that one last sort of attempt of heroism from his dad. His dad confronts the copper with a shotgun. He's like, I can't let, because he knows the copper's instantly going to go after his son to then string him up as Sawtooth for the following year. And his dad's like there with a shotgun. He's like, I can't let you do this anymore. I have to end this. I need to protect my son.
Yeah.
He doesn't, unfortunately, because he
doesn't.
Fucking...
Which is probably why I skimmed over it.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't have the minerals to pull the trigger when he really should have done. Had he done that, they would have escaped.
Yeah. Well, no, they wouldn't have done.
Yeah, they would have done.
No, they
I know
wouldn't
the
have
farmers
done.
Kicking about.
No, because when they get further down the road, the reason he stops is because there's a fucking great big tractor blocking the road edge to edge. He slams on the anchors and stops in front of the tractor.
Oh, I missed that. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense then, because when they do slam on, I was like, oh, that's really fucking convenient that they've stopped in this place where it's right next to the hole in the fucking cornfield where the grave is.
How did you miss the ginormous tractor that was blocking 2 lanes of traffic?
I don't know. And I've watched this film twice as well.
The policeman gets there, basically demands he gets out. He gets out and Kelly stays hidden. The policeman marches him down into the cornfield where he's going to be killed. Richie, who couldn't kick the shit out of the little dick earlier, kicks the shit out of the policeman, and fair play to him.
Does he kick the shit out of him or does he just shoot him? I can't remember. He just turns and shoots him.
He kicks the shit out of him a little bit first. He gives him a couple of digs first because the copper's being rough with him. He spins around and hits him a couple of times first, then shoots him.
Yeah, and shoots him like right in the neck, and one of the shots that he takes, I was like, oh, that's cool. And it looks cool as well.
It looks really cool. And I at this point, I was like, all he's got to do now is walk back up to the car and they're done. Find a way around the tractor, they're done. Richie gets taken out by the farmer who dug up Sawtooth the year before. And you see him bury him, and he buries him alive.
Does he cut his hand off?
No.
Because he goes to shoot the farmer, and then I thought he like macheted his hand off.
Yeah, he did. He does cut his hand off.
Yeah, because then he just screams in pain and he just buries him alive. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. The dad gets there. The dad pulls up, and the dad pulls up like as the farmer's driving the tractor away. And the dad looks in the car where Kelly is and goes, just run. Go.
Yeah, before someone comes and sees you, go now.
Before anyone sees you. Jump forward. 1964, 5 days before the run. The old farmer turns up and digs up Sawtooth Jack. Digs up.
No. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Digs up ahead. Apologies.
Digs up Richie, ready to prepare him for being Sawtooth Jack. He puts him up. He hangs him up, puts the pumpkin on. And Richie's dad turns up.
Well, we get that cool time lapse scene though, don't we? First,
Yeah.
So a few like days or weeks pass where you see it just focuses on the pumpkin. So when he puts the pumpkin on, it's a white pumpkin, rather large one. He hangs it over Richie's dead body, who's crucified on this cross. And then it's the camera just focuses on his head, pretty much like I am now on this shot with the backdrop behind me. And then you just see that time lapse where it's just day, night, day, night, day, night. And then you see the pumpkin slowly shrinking, a bit like the reverse pumpkin from the original Halloween 2018. But obviously, and it just shrinks to his head and molds to it. And I was like, wow, that looks fucking awesome, man.
Yeah. It's the dad who turns up and cuts him down. Does the dad kill the farmer?
Yeah. So the dad cuts him down. But I don't really understand the context of this, whether this is on the actual night or whether this is a few days before.
This is the day before.
So it's a day before he's supposed to be cut down. So the dad cuts him down, holds him in his arms, and then the farmer turns up. Oh, brilliant, this bit. The farmer says to him, "What the hell are you doing?" And without hesitation, and because he's hesitated so much throughout this film, when all the times he could have saved his son, he could have shot the police officer straight away. No hesitation this time. Boom, knife in this guy's face.
Yeah.
Kills him instantly, and he just turns to Sawtooth Jack, who is Richie at this point, and just said, "Burn it to the ground." I was like, fuck yeah.
Burn it all. Credits roll. And that's a post-credit scene as well. That's a mid-credit scene.
Well, not even that. We get like two scrolls, and
then it's that, and that's the end of the movie. We'll get into our bits, but before we do that,
Zoinks! 3-word reviews, man.
There are no 3-word reviews this week. Not a single one.
Oh man!
Nobody
been watching this.
First time since it's ever happened. It's free on Amazon in the UK. In the US, it's on VOD and it's $7, which, if I'm honest, I think is steep for this movie on VOD.
It's free on Prime, though, isn't it?
Not in the US.
Oh,
it's only free.
That's unfortunate.
Only free for us here in the UK. I hope everyone's enjoyed their week off. Hopefully you come back and give us 3-word reviews next week. Otherwise, we need a brand new feature. So yeah, that's 3-word reviews this week. Mark, do you want to do your recommended account of the week? And I will. I'll cue you up some music while you find your notes.
That would be good because I am not ready or prepared.
Recommended account of the week.
This week's recommended account is a bit of a callback because I feel like I haven't done a review-based account in quite some time. This one has come across my path recently, so I figured it would be the perfect opportunity to try and showcase a new review account. And this one I actually really, really like. The name of the account is On Edge Horror. Just type @On Edge Horror on Instagram. You will find this one straight away. And they review horror movies, TV reviews. Although they've mainly stuck down the horror road at the moment, there is a few in there that aren't horror based, so they may be an all-rounder account. They're a fairly new account, so give them time. I mean, they might find their niche on what they prefer to go with, but it seems like horror is a general consensus for this account at the moment. What's a bit different about this account as well that I really like is, although they do specific reviews similar to mine and Lumberjay and This Girl Loves Horror and Elise and all the rest of us out there, they also incorporate ranking systems throughout theirs as well. So they'll do a Scream ranking. Scream seems to be the one that he's working his way through at the moment. So he'll start with the bottom of his ranking list, and he'll do a post and a brief sort of why it places where it does on his ranking.
Oh, okay,
and then he'll throw in a couple of reviews, and then like maybe a week later you'll get he's number 5 on his list, and then he's number 4 on his list, and then he's number 3, and he'll build his way up to his top 100, top of the list.
That's cool. That's clever.
I say
like
he.
that.
I don't know why. I immediately just go to he. He, maybe, a she, they, them, all the rest of whatever's out there at the moment. But yeah, please go and follow this account. Really, really good, and I think they deserve some recognition because they're doing things that are not necessarily by the norm, especially if you follow me and you know how routine and regular my review account is. These guys are trying, very anal with it, to say the fucking very least. They're trying different stuff, and I can always appreciate that and envy it at the same time. And this account looks good as well. Like they aesthetically look good with the way they do their posts. You know, it's not
Yeah.
just throwing the picture of the movie out there and then writing it all at the bottom in the comment section. Like it's all put together quite well, and he takes his time, obviously, with the way he's laying it out. So, yeah, please go and check them out. It's called On Edge Horror. Really good review account, and not only does it look aesthetically good, but their opinions are actually valid as well. And I think a lot of you will enjoy what they have to say.
Okay, cool. Go give them a follow. Tell them that we sent you. That's important as well. Let's do some facts. They're going to be, funnily enough, quite a few booked facts this week. And I'm not going to drop a soundbite for this because I need Dave to do new ones. This movie has been set up for a sequel by changing the ending of the book, which fucking infuriated me because the ending of the book is the best bit of the fucking book.
Right. See, I was going to have a conversation with you about this and the differences between the two, but the fact that you've done an entire segment about it makes it quite entertaining.
So in the ending of the book, so you get the bit where Richie's mum kills herself.
Before we dive too deep into that, how faithful is it in terms of characters and setups and all the rest of it?
It's fairly close. It's pretty spot on.
So you get all the introduction with Richie's brother at the beginning before leading into it's this specific year that it's following.
It's this specific story and it's these characters, and it's really close. And Norman Partridge was actually a writer alongside another screenwriter for the adaptation as well. So I can't slam on this too hard, but Norman Partridge's ending was infinitely better and darker, which I like. So in the ending of the book, the mum commits suicide. Everything pans out as it does, and they end up in the church.
Yep.
In the church, the dad kills himself.
Oh, that's more fitting to his character throughout. I like the change in personality for him in the post-credit scene because it shows he's learned from what he's done throughout this film.
Yeah.
But that would have also been quite fitting as well.
And do you know
coward's way out.
Do you know what's even more fitting? It's his brother that comes out and tells his brother to burn it all down. And Sawtooth Jack takes the town that night, burns every fucking building, massacres every single teen that's on that street ready to kill him, kills Officer Dickhead. It all happens. So, like, literally, that end scene is absolute carnage. And they didn't do it. They went down we can get a sequel out of this. Let's do a sequel.
But you see, the thing is, if you'd have made this a 2 hour and 30-minute movie, that would have been fucking perfect. And there's so much about this movie that is so good that if they had done that and stayed true to it, my ranking at the end would be an entirely different ranking.
Yeah, like literally the whole movie, I'm going, oh, you've stayed really close to the book. I'm really happy with this. Really close to the book. Got to the bit of the church. It's like, eh? And then when he went out and shot Sawtooth Jack, I was like, oh, you bastards. And then when we got the end credit scene or the mid credit scene, whatever you want to call it, I was like, oh. But that's what should have happened 5 minutes ago. I was really
see, I had no context to that. So for me, I really like that. But now you mention it, now you tell the actual story side of things and how it should have played out.
So in the
add
book,
an extra 30 minutes to the movie and have it play out exactly how it should have done.
Yeah, so in the book,
this would have just come full circle for me.
Sawtooth Jack takes out loads of people. There's bits where Sawtooth Jack is fighting with his brother while his brother's taking people out who are trying to hurt.
Oh, man, just imagine that. That would have been awesome. A full-on 30-minute massacre scene at the end would have been brilliant.
Yeah, take everyone down, burn the town down. Yeah, oh well, we didn't get it. The main boys who are like Richie and his mates, they put on crimson ghost masks, which are popularly known as masks that the Misfits, the band Misfits, wear.
Yes.
As they put the masks on, he says the line, "Come into my violent world with me," which is a lyric from the Misfits song, Violent World.
That's cool.
Really cool.
What's the mask side of things in the book?
The book, they wear various different Halloween masks. They're kind of not...
It's the same vague idea then. It's not like...
everyone goes up masked out. There's an explanation as to why they mask themselves in the book that I can't fully remember, but it's kind of to be that everyone on the street is not themselves.
Yeah.
There's a cameo in this. You know the butcher who you love so much?
Yes, and I recognise him. And I thought, right, before you say anything, There is a film that comes to mind where there's a rat on his chest and they put a bucket on it and they burn it with a blowtorch.
No, it's not Blade 2 or whatever movie that was.
Is that a Blade movie? Because I couldn't work out whether it was a Blade or a Fast and the Furious movie from like one of the earlier ones.
Something tells me it's a Blade movie, but I could be wrong. Call in, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
That's Mark Boone. He played Bo Bauer in 30 Days of Night, again directed by David Slade.
I'm going to have to Google it on the air and just find out who the hell this guy is, because I think that is that scene. You can edit all this out, by the way. I just need to know. What was his name?
His name is Mark Boone.
Mark Boone. Mark.
And he was in
Boone.
30 Days of Night.
Mark Boone Jr. I think it's the same guy, dude.
Really?
Too Fast, Too Furious. That's the
Oh,
scene.
was it? Oh, okay,
yeah.
cool.
So in Too Fast, Too Furious, they're trying to get information out of him. It's like the main bad guy. I'm not a big Fast and the Furious fan, but I remember those films.
I know the scene, and they heat the bucket, so the rats.
Yeah, they heat the bucket, and then he tries to eat through his belt.
Yeah.
I knew as soon as I'd seen him, because he looks exactly the same. He has the same long grey hair and long grey beard. I was like, I'm sure that's the dude from Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah, but he was put in there because he knows David Slade worked with him before. It was a cameo.
I can't remember him in 30 Days a Night, though.
I can't remember who played in that, to be fair. But anyway, the book is infinitely better, offering more exposition as to the whys and hows of Sawtooth Jack. The book is so good, it won a 2006 Bram Stoker's Best Horror Novel Award. The book is outstanding.
I can see that.
The book also focuses far more on the fights between the people of the town. So it focuses far more on the purge element. So there's a lot more about teens killing teens, teens raiding businesses, teens going in and just basically butchering families they don't like. There's so much more the book does, which I know that's the case for every book, but for this one, everything they do in the book that they didn't include in the movie, they could have included in the movie with an extra 25-minute runtime. And yeah, that's kind of my facts for this. They're all my facts this week is me complaining that they didn't stay faithful to the book. We're going to play a game. Let's play a game. We had a bumper month of listener figures this month. Huge thank you to everyone who's listened. And you inspired me to put out a game that I've written so many times before, and every time I've not done it because I thought it was a little bit self-indulgent. But because you've all come in your droves this month, we're going to play it. It's a game.
I like an ego massage. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's a game of higher or lower, but with our listener numbers. So I'm going to give Mark an episode, and we're not going to divulge the numbers, but I'm going to give him an episode, and he's going to tell me if the episode that comes next has higher listeners or lower listeners than the episode before. I'm going to give you a bit of a gimme at the start. So we're going to start with our highest number of listeners on an episode. So this is our most listened to episode. So that was X.
So how am I obviously going to go higher or lower? Because I know the answer is lower for the next one.
So the first one's a gimme. So X is your starting point. So The Conjuring is our third ever episode.
Is it higher or lower? Is it higher or lower?
Jesus, don't milk it.
Lower is my final answer.
It is lower. The Exorcist, which was your trial episode, is that higher or lower than The Conjuring?
Oh, I feel like that was a good episode for us. That was like my trial episode. I think it went really well. That might just be all in my own head. I'm going to say higher.
It was higher, infinitely higher. It Chapter 1 with Lady Crisis, did that get more listens than The Exorcist or less?
Oh, she always delivers with numbers when she comes on, doesn't she?
She does.
She's a very popular lady.
And
I'm going to say
so.
higher, just based on the movie itself and the guest.
And how cool Lady Crisis is. That is higher.
Yes.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, did that get more or less listens than It Chapter 1 with Lady Crisis?
Less.
That got a lot less.
Nobody wants to listen to that shit.
Halloween 4, our year-long build rivalry episode, did that get more or less listens than Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
And that was my first presenting episode. I've done a few while you've been on holiday and stuff, but that was the first one I'd ever taken charge of because you was on strike and refused to be involved. I'm I hope it's higher. I'll be so disappointed if Buffy beats out Halloween 4.
What are you going with?
Higher.
It's actually lower, only just,
No.
but it is lower.
No.
But Buffy the Vampire Slayer has more listens than Halloween 4.
Oh my God, what are you guys doing to me?
Thanks, Buffy fans.
Scandalous.
The disappointment on Mark's face has filled me with joy. Scream 6, higher or lower than H4?
Didn't we have a lease on for that?
We did have a lease on for that one.
Higher.
It is higher. The Munsters with Imitation Dave. Higher or lower than Scream 6?
Ooh, that one's hard. That's got to be close, I think. Because I think a lot of people will want to know what we had to say about the Munsters, especially knowing my love for Rob Zombie, even though it turned out I hated that movie and you loved it. Higher than Scream. Dave's great as well. Alicia's great too. I'm going to say lower, just based on the movies alone.
It was higher.
Oh, well.
It was
That's
higher.
surprising.
Yeah. Hell House LLC.
Lower than the Munsters, just because I don't think many people have seen that movie.
Higher.
Fuck, I'm not doing very well at this.
No, you're shit at this game. Last week's episode, the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I'm including YouTube views in our listener count.
Higher than LLC. Rocky Horror hasn't been out very long, though, has it? That's last week's episode, so yeah. I'm going to say lower, just based on the time.
Yeah, it is lower. The Crow with Skelly and Juliet.
Higher than Rocky Horror Picture Show.
It is higher than Rocky Horror Picture Show. And the last one, The Welder with David Liz and Vincent DePaul.
Oh, we had a good social media run with that. We was pumping out the celebrations for it, and we had some fantastic guests on that as well. We had both the actor and the director. Higher than The Crow, though. I'm going to say higher.
It is. It's our third most listened to episode ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's all of those. I think anymore, and it does become very self-indulgent. So we're going to end that there. Do you want to take the roundup on this first, or do you want me to take mine? Mine's quite short.
Yeah, mine's pretty short as well. So I'll go first and get out of the way, because I feel like you're going to have a little bit more context than I am in terms of opinions.
A little bit more rage than you will.
Possibly, yeah, based on your love for this movie. So it's difficult for me to try and break down my loves and my hates and loves for this movie based on having no context to the original source material. But having that limited context kind of also impacts how I score this movie, because I feel like there is so much potential with what happened within this film. It just feels like there's so much missing at the same time. The cast, I think, is really, really good. I don't have any issue with anybody barring the copper in it, or police officer, or
Officer Dick.
Officer Dick will do greatly. He was just fucking stupid, in my opinion, almost comedic and spoof level at certain times. The kill sequences are fantastic, absolutely brutal as hell, and I could have taken so much more of those. Now you've mentioned to me that there was this entire fucking bloodbath that should have happened at the end, just annoys me even more, really, because that would have looked amazing.
Yeah.
Given my next praise, which is the director, who does a fantastic job. The cinematography, the editing, everything is so smooth, so slick. It looks brilliant. Visually, this is a very aesthetically pleasing movie to watch. The tone, the Halloween seasonal tone of it is brilliant. They really hit the nail on the head with that, not just with the generic pumpkin and fall sort of autumnal sort of seasonal vibe that they have going on, but with the masks of the kids and stuff, it just feels very on point. They really got that down to a T. My dislikes, unfortunately, they come with the time period that this was set in. I don't necessarily like period pieces, as I've said, and I know when I say period pieces, people think like
the 1800s.
Back in the days of yore. No, but I'm talking in reference to stuff that was before my reference point, which anything before the 80s just doesn't hold any reference to me or nostalgia unless it's Grease Lightning, like I've already said. And this felt very much like that. It's almost that kind of stupidity level with the greaser style and the accents, which is what I was trying to explain earlier. It's like that's the problem with the copper guy. His accent is like a very generic 1940s Southern American accent. And it's like, man, like you've just gone back and watched Hollywood movies from that era and based your entire personality around it. And it just pissed me off, man. And I feel like that incorporated a lot of tones and subject matters that I don't feel necessarily needed to be in this movie. They just didn't need to be there. I think had this been set in present day, or do you know what would have worked even better, which I would have preferred? Set this in the future.
Yeah.
Set this 100 years in the future. We have now this whole, we don't even need, then it does away with the whole exposition of fucking Sawtooth Jack. You can have an opening monologue explaining that the world went to shit because of some sort of fucking demonic bursting through the confines of Earth or some stupid shit like that, man. We don't need anything else. That's all we need. And then everything else makes sense. But the fact that this is set in a timeline where we've already lived in and existed in and nobody has any recollection of this just doesn't marry up to me. So set this in the future. That's much better. Give me the T2 fucking 1000 vibes with it all and just let it be a fucking let it be a Skynet thing and I'm more on board. My main biggest gripe with the whole thing is just the lack of context with the overall story. And it's not that it doesn't give enough for somebody who hasn't read the books, because I haven't read the books, but I could tell something was missing within this movie.
Yeah.
There was something that just didn't quite feel right, and that there is so much more to give. And I don't know whether that's because I liked everything that it gave me, and then I felt underwhelmed by the overall execution of what was ultimately delivered. Had it had an extra hour on this runtime, I would have taken a 2.5 hour runtime of this good, because the pacing on it's perfect. Yeah. I did not look at my clock or my phone one time throughout watching this, which is what's so disappointing about it. Is this film is so good. It's shot perfectly. It's cast perfectly. It's fucking CGI. I never fucking rave about CGI. It looks fucking great.
It just needs
fail so much on the story elements.
Yeah.
And it's annoying because it's there. The ingredients are there and it just doesn't mix together well enough to deliver
that's the worst bit.
Story.
Is it falls apart on the story, and the story is the bit that's the best bit. The author won award after award after award. This is like anywhere you try and buy this book, it's got a minimum of a 4.5 star rating. This book is outstanding. The story was solid, and it's the bit they fucking scuppered. How?
All the ingredients are right, man. It just doesn't have the backbone to hold it all up. And unfortunately, that's what's so disappointing about it. And I think if you put it on as a mindless Halloween movie, it's great. You'll have fun with it. You'll really enjoy it. But if you're anything like me and knows the potential that this could have had, you'll walk away disheartened by it. And that's what's a real shame about it all, really, is that we've waited so long and it's gone through such a messy production for it to get here. And then when it finally arrives, it all makes sense as to why it's gone through this fucking shitty little tumbleweed for the past couple of years, is because they just couldn't get it right. And that's a shame. And it's like, I would like to see this get a sequel. I think that the post-credit scene sets up perfectly enough for it to, and for it to dive straight into it. But unfortunately, we don't live in a world where we used to get that. Regardless of whether a movie was good or bad, we were guaranteed a sequel, and whether it be direct to video or not, you could guarantee they'd churn out 12 of these. We don't have that anymore, unfortunately, and that's a shame for horror fans and fans of movies in general, because we will never get a continuation of this story, because it's not done very well, I don't think, by all accounts. But yeah, maybe the sequel would have fleshed. The thing is, like I mentioned, we spoke about this earlier, and I said to you, this would have worked best on a limited series run basis, where you had like maybe 6 episodes, a full 6-hour arc of this story. You could have fleshed it out to death. You didn't need to have 10 seasons of it, just 1 season, limited season, 6 episodes, an hour long. Perfect. That would have worked brilliantly. Or an already sort of established, right, this is getting a trilogy, like we have with The Exorcist Believer kind of thing. This is your first movie. You'll get more in the second movie, and then we'll tie it all up in the third. Knowing that I was going to get that would ease my
pain,
ease my disappointments with the first film, because I know that the rest of those story elements were going to be answered in the second or third. But unfortunately, we know that this is going to go nowhere after this, and this is all we're going to get. And it's a shame, because there's so much there that works. It's just slightly misses the mark overall.
What are you scoring it?
It's a 2.5. I don't hate it. I really enjoyed my time with it, and I probably will watch it again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't probably sit down to watch it and focus all my attention on it. But if I was doing stuff around the house and cooking and cleaning, and it's Halloween sort of season, I'd have it on the telly in the background and maybe tune into the cool bits every now and again.
Yeah, I'm kind of where you are. I mean, I'm slightly disappointed purely for the fact that I know what it could have been. And the bones of it being a solid horror movie are clearly there. Some of the scenes in this are outstanding. When Sawtooth Jack really goes for it in that cornfield, had they kept that level of violence throughout and delivered the ending that I was expecting, this would have been top marks across the board. I would have been absolutely blown away. I know very little about the budget because it went straight to streaming. I know before it was going to streaming, there's talk that this had around about $8.5–9 million, which for that sort of money, this is phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal. The CGI in this is fabulous. It can't be knocked. No. It's been badly handled by production companies and by Prime. The way they marketed and advertised this, they didn't put any effort into this whatsoever, and no one's watching it because no one knows about it. I doubt we're going to get a sequel to it, which I kind of don't know if I want a sequel, but they've set it up to get one, so I kind of think they should. It's good enough quality that it deserves to get another one.
If they brought everybody back who was involved in this first one and gave us an exact sequel that picked up immediately after the first, and we ourselves could then tie the two together, perfect.
I've got a feeling this is going to be a slow burn. I've got a feeling that this is going to be something in the same vein of a Trick or Treat, that when it first was released, it kind of dipped under the radar and no one really gave a shit about it. When it became free on every single streaming service in the world, this time next year, everyone will be talking about this. I think this is something that will become something that people will watch at Halloween. I just think it's a slow burn. I think everyone's kind of missed it, and they've missed it because no one's really put any effort into putting it out there. It's above average. It's a 7 out of 10 from me. It's not great, but it's not.
That's a good score.
Terrible. We're back next week with Five Nights at Freddy's. I promise. And Tasha from the Sinister Scoop. I promise. That episode is going to be rather wild. Be pre-warned. There's going to be lots of Matthew Lillard love. There's going to be animatronics. There's going to be a game of evil audio and lots of input from you if you all decide you're going to play next week and not have another week off. I'm not going to round this episode off with a movie quote just in case something does go wrong. So until next time, be safe, be good, have a lovely week, and we'll see you all soon.
Happy Halloween, guys. See you next week.
Bye.
And, before I forget,
I'll kill you if this is a joke.
You want to die tonight?
The You Run Podcast.
The You Run Podcast.
The You Run Podcast.
The You Run Podcast.
Why isn't it possible?
I can't say nothing. Or Candyman get me.
You choose the movies.
I had a hard-on this morning when I woke up, Tina. Had your name written all over it.
You score them.
Nice fucking model!
You review them.
For that you get the head, the tail, the whole damn thing.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
My name is very fucking confused. What's your name?
Captain Howdy.
You don't want to go fooling around other folks' property.
In my goddamn soul. Just a glass of beer.
Because after all, this is not our show. This is your show.
Hello and welcome to our not-so-secret game. Well, you're playing for a guest spot on the show in 2024. If you're new here, hi. Mark's not here. Mark's actually gone to the toilet. So I'm doing this bit all on my own. So this is the part in the show where we give you a challenge and you complete that challenge and you earn a chance to get on the show as a guest, and then we'll pick a winner at some point early next year. This week's challenge is really, really simple. Dark Harvest has not had enough push or advertising from the production company or from Amazon Prime. So I'm asking all of you to do it. Share a post, share a picture, share a review, share anything you can to get people talking about Dark Harvest, whatever it may be, to draw a little bit more attention to this really Halloween-y movie that has just dipped under the radar. So yeah, do that and you're in the draw. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll catch you next time.